Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. It's Friday. I got my dog door cup from Asheville. That's Dog City. Let's see who we got in here. Happy weekend, Erin. So we got Local Life Outdoors. Welcome in. Ariella Viking Venture and Victuals. Welcome in. Leanne at the Mennonite Farmhouse. Daz, my Aussie Garden and Kitchen. He's making the kids lunch, so he's going to be lurking. That's fine. We take lurkers, especially when they're Daz. Creepy ones we don't take. Hey, Lisa Kalovi. Hello, Blue Collar. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, Erin at Bramble Hill Homestead. Hey, Gwen at Broke Cowgirl Homestead. Hey, Annette at the Cow Emporium. Thanks, Leanne. Isn't that green screen cool? I downloaded the flag just for Rebeka. Thank you, Erin. What I love about the green screen is, number one, Ryan bought it for me. But what's really cool about it is it's retractable, so it makes life really easy, and it goes right down into the case. Super simple. Hey, Joy Bless Life, Joy and Donnie, welcome in. Hey, Dragonflies, Ozark Homestead. Hey, Josh Skinner Farms. Hey, Charlene Heel. Welcome in, you guys. Thanks so much for being here. So we have a really special guest tonight, and I want to be transparent. We had another channel that canceled, and I reached out to Rebeka, and she's so gracious. She was so excited and jumped on in, and I guess I just didn't realize how sometimes people want to do these things, and I should have asked sooner. But she's an amazing, amazing woman. She has been helping me behind the scenes more than you guys would ever know with kune pigs. And she raises them as well. And she also is a member of the U.S. Navy. She is an active service member. And I'm going to have her talk more in detail about that. But I just want to say hello real quick to everybody who just came in, and then we're going to get started. Hello, Nancy, our treasured home. Hello, Uncle Al at Dyed Bullfrog 79. And I think I said hello to everybody. Oh, Country Mama Musings is here. Hello, hello. And again, just in case you weren't here when I started, I said hello to Ariella Viking Venture and Victuals. Thank you for being here, as well as Gwen at Broke Cowgirl Homestead. And hello, Seed Faith Homestead. All right, well, without further ado, we are going to bring up Rebeka from Halbert Farms, and I'm going to do an interview with her. So if I don't say hello to folks coming in to the chat, please don't be offended. I will come back to it periodically, okay? All right, well, here she is. Hello.
Hello.
Erin at Bramble Hill Homestead wanted to thank you so much for your service.
Thank you so much. That's so cool.
It was awesome. Awesome. So let me just see here. Okay. So I told them that you were an active member of the U.S. Navy. And so how long have you been in the Navy?
I joined the Navy Reserves in 2003. So I just making my 18 years this year.
That's awesome.
Mainly in the reserves. I did 2 years active duty, and then I've gotten deployed a few times out to sea for 60 days, and I went to the Middle East for 6 months. So done a lot of things.
Wow. And you've also, I saw on your Instagram, you've been to Germany.
Yes, I went to Germany in September for 3 weeks for the Navy. The AFRICOM headquarters is there, and that's the unit I'm with. So I do IT stuff for the Navy, and was there helping. It was pretty crazy during COVID. They were all working from home, and in the military, we work kind of on, secret stuff. And so they really had to change how they were doing things. And the website that we use in the office because, kind of was in shambles. It really looked like, if you're an internet person like me, it's like you imagined a city and everybody just picked up and left and were gone for a year. That's how their internet was, their site was. So I spent a good 3 weeks organizing it, cleaning it up for them, just trying to get some of their processes that they used to have back in place. And so they're very fortunate and grateful that I was there. And I had a good time. My mom lives in the UK, and so she drove to Germany to visit me, and we got to do some traveling and stuff while I was there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Some of the folks in the chat are saying things, saying it was a big adjustment. And then
and my wiener dog picture, we have 2 dachshunds. I've had 4 dachshunds in my life so far. I plan to have plenty more. So I've had a dachshund ever since I turned 18.
Oh, Bro Cowgirl says she has 2 of them.
Oh, nice. Yep. Us too. You can't just have one.
No. That's how I feel about pigs.
You just can't have one pig. They just keep, every day I look outside, Josh has bought another one.
Is it Josh or is it you?
It's Josh. I added him to some kune Facebook groups this past year, and every other day, like, he's like, oh, look at this one, look at this one. And we were driving around picking up pigs almost every weekend.
Actually, Ryan's starting to feel that way with me.
I'm picking up 2 donkeys tomorrow.
Full size?
Full size, and they're red. Like, I don't know what the color is, but yeah, they're red donkeys. They're really cute. So they'll protect our cows.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see. Ryan, it's funny when we got the 2 pigs, well, the 3 pigs from the girl the breeder across South Dakota. She was funny. I had texted her asking about Eleanor, and then we ended up getting Eleanor and Fiona, and she was like, you're just as bad as I am. And then we get Grant, and the girl who has had Grant, she's telling me she's stuck with a few guilts. And then I was like, if you get stuck with him for a little while, just let me know. So cute. So cute. So what state are you in?
I am in Texas.
Awesome. And obviously you have a farm. Do you want to share a little bit about your farm and what animals you have?
Sure, of course. Let's see. I'll just share my whole background of me, I guess. I'm originally from Hawaii. And ever since I was a kid, my dream was to have a farm. Like, that was my plan. As soon as I could draw, I was drawing out farm plans. So I would remember very distinctly drawing my my rooster mug. I would draw my little pens, and I wanted to have, a boy and girl of every animal. And it was a basic, like, in my mind, I was building Noah's Ark, but a farm. And so this is my perfect life. That's what I wanted to do. And of course, growing up in Hawaii, we rented. We couldn't even afford to, purchase a house there. It was so expensive when I was younger. And so I wasn't even allowed to have a dog.
Oh, wow.
So no animals. And we moved, my boyfriend at the time moved to the mainland to go to school, and I came with him, and I hated it. We were in Florida. I really hated it. I wanted to go back home to Hawaii. And he said, well, he got offered a job here in Texas. And he said, I'll get you a horse and a house if you come to Texas. And I go, a horse and a house? All right, I'll move to Texas for a horse and a house. Like, who wouldn't? So we moved to Texas, and we bought a house, and I got a horse, and I learned to ride, and I wanted to be a barrel racer because I was here in Texas. So of course, like, you got to be a barrel racer. My horse didn't like it that much. So I started riding English with him, and I learned to jump. And so I do 3-day eventing.
Yep.
And then the trainer was selling her farm where I kept my horse, and she was like really trying to get me to buy someplace so that I keep my horse with me. And I'm like, okay. And then my dad, meanwhile, my dad and mom got divorced in Hawaii. My dad was like, grew up on a farm. He grew up on Halbertfarm in upstate New York. Like, his ancestors, his great-great-great-grandfather imported in from Ireland.
Wow.
Upstate New York, and they had a dairy farm. And he was looking at farms in upstate New York, and he was sending me all these ads. I'm like, Dad, I have no idea how to deal with snow, and I hate the cold weather, and I'm not going to have a dairy farm in upstate New York. I'm sorry. Like, I wouldn't even know how to deal with that. And I said, why don't you move to Texas because he's like, oh, you want these farms when I die, you know? And I'm like, no. Yeah, why don't you move to Texas with me? We can get something together, and your central location, you can fly anywhere. Yep, there we go, a barrel racer from Texas. And so there was this little house up the road from my horse trainer that was really nice, and it'd been empty. And I went to the estate sale, and they were trying to sell it. I don't know. I just kept going a year long. I kept driving by this place and seeing it. And finally there was a real estate sign out front. And I said, oh my goodness, it's for sale. And I called my real estate agent. I'm like, you got to check out the house. Like, what's going on with it? It just went on the market. We placed an offer on it. It was only 3 acres, but it had this big metal shop, and there's a 2-bedroom apartment where my dad lives.
Oh, wow.
And then the house, and like, it would just be perfect. And so we put the offer in, and we did a regular offer. Like, the housing market wasn't crazy back then. This is back in 2013. And they like, oh, we're going to wait, see what other offers we get. And we said, okay, well, what if we give you your asking price, take it off the market right now? And they said, okay. So we bought it. And then my neighbors sold us 7 acres. And then I added the 7 acres. So I have 10 acres now here.
Wow.
At our farm. My dad moved, and he was helping. We moved my horse, and I got a second horse, and we rescued a donkey from the Humane Society, and then we got goats. So I wanted to start with goats, and goats are really hard to take care of. And I didn't realize we got pygmy goats, and they didn't eat weeds and grass. They wanted to eat bushes and trees. So my dad was like cutting down our trees and our bushes for them, and like having to carry it to their pens. It was like crazy amount of work. Bobcat killed the boy, and the girl. I was away from my military duty and for my 2 weeks, and the bobcat got the boy, and then the girl was so sad she just died.
Oh,
it was really sad. So my dad was crying, I was crying, and I'm like, man, that was really difficult. I don't think I can do goats. And I had chickens for a while. Like, in my little suburb home, I had built my own chicken coop, and we had little backyard chickens. And then I said, well, I was going to get cows because my neighbors had cows, and I'm like, I'm in Texas, I got to have cows, barrel racer cows. The things you got to do when you're in Texas, like you're, to become a Texan.
Everything's bigger in Texas too.
And I go, well, cows are really expensive, and if I can't even take care of goats, how can I keep a cow alive? So I'm like, I better look into something else here. And so I searched pigs, and the kunis, that I found them, and I knew I wanted zebus, which are a miniature cow.
Yep.
And they're great. Kunis are grazing pigs. They're super friendly and sweet. They're not territorial like other pigs can be. And so that's kind of where we got the pigs. And we started, I was one of the first breeders here in Texas back in 2016 is when we started. And we just got 2 and tried to stay really small. We still try to stay really small. This past year, I think we only had 8 litters. We only breed our sows once a year. And Josh worked at Lockheed Martin until earlier this year. He quit, and he's doing the farm full time.
Nice.
So we're making it a little bit on our farm life.
That's exciting. And I don't think you mentioned the cows.
No, yeah, the cows, we got them. Well, last year I got 2 from COVID because of petting zoo, or one of those. What is it? Not a petting zoo. I don't one of those like drive-through things, but I guess it was like a petting zoo. A petting zoo,
like a drive-through safari, so to speak.
Safari. I think they had some other, like, my friend got one of those Manicotis or Cody, I don't know, some weird like ringtail lemur type animal from them, but they were selling all their animals because they couldn't take care of them anymore. And so they told me they were zebus. They told me they were registered. They came from Arkansas, I believe, and they showed up. And they were registered on some weird registry I've never heard of, just like a mini cow association. And they definitely weren't zebus. So I have these 2 heifers. They've never been pregnant. I am in like Dallas, Fort Worth area, just south of Fort Worth, a little town called Burleson. If you know who Kelly Clarkson is, this is the town of fame. It's where she's from. So, but I love it here. When I first moved to Burleson, it was a tiny town, and it reminded me of Hawaii. Like, we had little mom and pop shops. I'd go into places, they'd remember my name, I really, really loved it. And so I kind of stayed, and we're really fortunate to have got the place when we did, and 10 acres, because not even a minute down the road, we have a Kroger, Home Depot, Target.
Yeah.
We have every single restaurant you could ever possibly imagine now over here. Yep, and College Station is a great place because you have A&M down there, and they have the best vets if you have any pig problems, because most veterinarians do not see pigs, and so it's about a 4-hour drive for me if I needed to go to the college, or even like if I needed to get an MRI on my horse. You have to take your horse all the way down there too.
Oh, wow. Wow. So how many pigs in total do you have? I know that's hard because you're always having litters.
We have 8 boars and 13 girls. So we have 20, is that 20? No, it's 22. 22 pigs.
My dream.
And then we have not only 9 piglets right now. And the 9 piglets are just from one of the moms, and they will all be weaned and off to their new homes on December 4th. And that's our last litter for the year. You're going to bring a piglet in, weren't you?
How's the little belted looking little piglet? Or did that one, the one that was sandy colored with the cream belt?
We have 4 belted piglets in this litter. And then we have the one that we kept, Woodstock, who's got like the little orange head, orange butt, and she's mainly white. Pilot Point. I don't know. I think Pilot Point might be farther away.
I'm glad you have access to vets, because I don't know. Well, you know, when I had the meat pig who was injured and you just couldn't find one.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. It is hard to find vets. And I found there's my breeder friend in Louisiana. She has a pig vet that specializes in pigs right next to her. And she comes to her house. And
my gosh.
Yes. And she's really amazing. She actually drove all the way to my house to buy a pig from me. And I didn't even know I knew she was a veterinarian, but I didn't know she was a pig veterinarian. And so then she's got a pet pig from me, and then a pet pig from Liberty Farms, Paula, and that's who her like special vet is. So if I have like a super like hard question, or I really like, she's my phone a friend, like you get one phone call type person, like in case of emergency. If I can't get any other answers, like I have her, in my back pocket, which is really, really nice to be able to have that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Northern Girl Hobbies, no worries. Thanks so much. Get some rest. Hey, Brampton Gardner, Rochelle, welcome in. So there's something I say unique about you, because a lot of homesteaders don't typically have some of the things you have. And it begins with an R, so you know what I'm talking about. Right?
Yes. Oh, so we never.
Is that her now?
Yes, I was never. Yeah, now you can hear her. We have a pig in the house.
I love it.
And not the piglet that Josh is bringing in, but here's the piglet.
Oh, cute.
I was never a pig person. Like, most people that get pigs.
Hey, Josh.
How you doing?
Good, you?
Good.
Oh, hello. Look at that face, everybody. I'm going to see if I can make it bigger. Let me see. I can't figure it out. Oh, wait a minute. Solo layout. There we go. Look at that face. Oh.
Are you on TV?
And how old is that little one?
5 weeks this week.
Oh. So, guys, for reference, Grant was 7.5 weeks when we got him because his mama got sick. Look at that face. Erin's dying.
Here he is, his little fat butt.
Oh, they're just so precious.
This litter, like Mace has the sweetest babies. Because normally, if you pick up a piglet, they're normally screaming their heads off, especially if you're holding it like this.
Yes.
So they're usually not as friendly.
Absolutely. Grant sounds like he's being murdered.
They are. But he was also just probably sleeping.
Oh.
But, yeah, we were never like pig people. And I had never imagined having a pig in the house or letting them come in the house. And one of our litters 2 years ago in June, I went outside and the mom had, I was, she had just given birth, and I went out there and I didn't realize it, but I had the feed bucket because I was feeding them breakfast.
Yeah.
And she jumped up and stepped on her baby, and the little baby was screaming, and I saw the whole thing happen. It was like, I can,
Oh,
cringe inside. And I was screaming at Millie. Her name was Millie, Ripley's mom. And I'm like,
oh,
not for her. Millie, I didn't know. Millie was our first pig that we bought, our first sow, and the first one we bred. And after we got Panda, we realized Millie is not a good mom. And she did not like being a mom. She would
wow.
leave her babies, and she hated them. And so
Wow.
she wasn't careful on them. So we found her home later. But we didn't know that because that was our first pig, and that was the first one, we had.
Yeah.
And so she stepped on this little tiny piglet, and Ripley was only 6 ounces when she was born.
Oh my gosh.
And I rushed her to the vet, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not going to live. But the vet stitched her up, and she's like, she sounds like she has fluid in her chest, but maybe it's just because she was just born. So, she doesn't know. She said she is a fighter, though, so I think she's going to make it. And we brought her home. Ripley hated being picked up. She'd scream, she'd flail, she'd fight you so hard. She would fight you so hard that she would like wiggle herself out of your hands and like fall on the ground. And then she'd take off running. Like she wanted nothing to do with us. Hi. To see hey, Rebeka, Ormsby Farm. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Everybody's dying in the chat. They're singing the Baby Shark song with pigs. And then Anita from Flower Folk Farm, which is in Australia, said, oh, I popped on and there was a piglet. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then I had a horse show that weekend. So we actually had to take Ripley, and she didn't have a name at the time. Well, actually, she got her name because I said she was so ugly. She looked like an alien. And so the girl from Alien is named Ripley. So that's why Ripley's name is Ripley. She was just this big, ugly head and this tiny, tiny body. And we were going to a horse show. So we packed a cooler full of milk. And so we feed baby piglets baby Gerber baby rice cereal, like and we just use cow's milk. Some people use goat's milk. If you have goat's milk, that's great. Or you could buy like goat milk replacement, but we're kind of lazy. And so we just buy cow whole milk and mix that with the baby rice cereal, and then in a bowl or tray, and they learn to eat it and they love it. Yeah. And so so we had to take all of that with us. We took a heat lamp. We had snuck her into our hotel for the horse show. And we had to, have a heat lamp on her because the room's air conditioned. And then she was outside in the horse show all weekend with us. And Josh is having to spoon feed her because at first they don't know how to, eat from human. And you don't want to use a bottle because they can choke themselves and get like air and fluid in their lungs. So we teach them with a spoon, and then we have to get them to do the whole tray thing. And it was like waking up every 2 hours, feeding this thing.
Oh my gosh.
She had mange, she had diarrhea, she had constipation, like she was just a mess. And she would fight us. If we went to the back door to like try to take her potty, she would fight. And she would run back in this tiny little piglet thing. She'd run back through into the doggy door and come into the house. Like she would not go outside. She had nothing to do with the outside or the pigs out there or her siblings. And so she decided she was the house pig.
Wow.
Now we have Ripley, Ripley, are you going to come here? Ripley, we'll get her to come over here, and we'll see if she'll come over here.
She'll come over. Unless Josh has something good to eat.
Now she's probably, I mean, I think she weighs 150, 170. So. She only does it for treats. But there's the big
Ripley
in the house. And there's our dachshund. Oh.
Now that's not Ranger.
No, that's Slinky.
Okay. Look at her. Erin at Bramble Hill is going nuts in the comments. She's like, oh my lands.
Yep. So Oh, are we gonna spin?
Wow.
And she doesn't. She's slipping on the floor.
She lives a good life with you guys. I see those pictures. She's got a couch.
Yes, so she's we got her spayed. She has, because then now she can go out with the boys and girls. We don't have to worry about her. Pigs go into heat every 3 weeks. So I was just talking to a dog breeder, and dogs go into heat every 6 months, like twice a year. So I'm like, because she had boys and girls mixed up together, because she had all her breeding, her champion, show dogs with her. And I said, I'm like, oh, I go, he's, doing stuff. Like, he's mounting her. Do we need to do something? And she's like, oh, no. Like, she told him to stop, but it's not her season. So it wasn't a big deal. I was like, oh, yeah. With pigs every 3 weeks, it's so often, it'd be hard to monitor that. So we got her spayed. She has, she doesn't have wattles. She's small for a kune, which is good for a house pig. She also has a very bad teat line. She has like 7 nipples on one side and 4 on the other. So she's like a very bad representation of the breed. So that's why she's not being bred and she's spayed. But we love her to death. She's like our daughter or our child now. It's really ridiculous. And now I'm like in all the pig, the pig pet pig groups with all the crazy pig people. And that's what I've turned into.
Ripley's adorable, adorable.
Thank you.
This breed of pigs is just like having dogs. Really, I mean, they're just like having dogs. My pigs come, running.
Need pigs now. Everybody needs a pig.
You have to have a pig.
Homestead.
And the thing of it is we've always had Old English bulldogs. So quite honestly, Old English bulldogs and kune pigs are exactly the same thing. Stubborn, pig-headed. But they're funny as all get out. That is so funny. Well, thanks for showing her, showing her to us. She's adorable. So tell us about the dogs you have. You have some really cool dogs, and I know you have Ranger, who just went through some struggles with surgery.
Yes, Ranger is our 4th dachshund. So my first dachshund got an autoimmune disease when he was 12, and I was taking him for blood transfusions weekly when I was in college. And so I took out all my student loans to pay for my dog's treatments. And then he didn't make it, unfortunately. So that was really devastating. And then I had a rescue dachshund who was 16, and one day I just walked past him a Sunday. I remember this, and he kind of fell off the dog bed that he was laying on, and all of a sudden he couldn't walk or move. And I'm like, well, that's weird. I go, we got to rush in the emergency room. So rushed in the emergency room. He had back surgery. He lived for two more years, but he never really was able to walk well again. And so then we rescued Ranger about 6 months after Reese passed away. And the day after we got him, he was 2 years old at the time. He'd been returned twice. And they said that he lived on a farm. He loved animals, and he was great with animals. Well, all he does is bark constantly, chases the horses. He thinks he's like out there doing his job, which is, I guess, barking at everything. But he's actually like pretty dangerous, because he literally tries to chase the horses, and the horses are going to kick him. So so we have to be very careful with him. But the day after we got him, he had a seizure, and so we pretty sure that he was having seizures, and that's why he got returned. So he's on medicine every 8 hours to not have seizures. We have to take him into the vet maybe. But we were almost every 3 to 4 months. He was having a really bad seizure that we couldn't get him out of it, and having to go do that. And every vet visit was like $700. Our friends in California told us to try CBD oil, which I'm not really like into CBD oil, but we tried it, and we haven't had to take him to the emergency room in a year and a half, or ever since we started the CBD.
Wow.
Oil. So if we give him like a dropper full when he starts having a seizure, it clears up right away, which is like amazing.
Wow.
Better than he has Valium that he's on, and like we're supposed to give him Valium when he gets to having a seizure, and that never helped. So it's been amazing and saved us a whole bunch of money. And then when I was in Germany, Josh said, Ranger's just acting kind of weird. And he took him to the vet, and the vet's like, oh, he kind of has a sore back, gave him some pain medicine, told him to take it easy. And then when I got home from Germany, he was like not Ranger. Normally Ranger's bouncing off the walls, super excited to see me. And so I said, yeah, he's not right. We took him to the vet. So
She has a pug.
Gizmo keeps asking for CBD. They like it. And then we took him to an acupuncture, like a pain management veterinarian, like some specialist, and got him. He had acupuncture and laser therapy, and then this like magnetic treatment thing.
Oh yeah.
And the very next day, he was like not even able to move, and in so much pain. So we took, and then he was, and that's when he couldn't walk. So we took him back to the emergency room, or where they do the surgery. And he had back surgery, and they thought he had a 80% chance of being completely fine. And so that was Wednesday. We were supposed to take him home on Friday night or Saturday morning, and he still wasn't walking, and he was actually worse on Saturday. And his tail lost movement. He wasn't even able to move his tail. And so then they said, oh, well, we're going to keep him overnight. They couldn't even let him pee on his own. He had a urinary catheter in, all this stuff. So the vet told us, we really have to open him back up again. Maybe he ruptured something else, or maybe I missed something. So a week later, he had back surgery again. And they told us it was going to be months that he'd be able to walk again, if he walked again now, because I guess your spinal cord gets atrophied from that pressure on it. And then it's not a good chance of it coming back. So we were really kind of devastated. And we're like, well, that's not really a life ranger, because he loves to run. I mean, if you watch my Instagram, he's always jumping in the pool and just being crazy. And so they had him for a few days. He still wasn't able to pee on his own. They wanted to try sending him home with a urinary catheter in. So we were having to like keep that in, make sure he didn't pull it out, and then like use syringes to pull the urine out every couple hours. And he did really well that weekend. And then we took him back to the vet. So they took that out, and then we have to express his bladder, blah, blah, blah. But a week and a half later, all of a sudden he just starts moving his back legs. And now it's been 2 weeks and he's walking almost as good. Oh, you're going to show him? Okay. Ranger. Come here, Ranger.
Oh,
he's walking almost as good as he, before he had surgery. It's just crazy.
Well, you showed that picture on Instagram of where he was moving with his front legs and dragging his hind end.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was taken off.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi, Ranger.
I actually had a lady on a Facebook group message me saying, you cannot let him run. That's bad for his back. And I'm like, well, it's hard. Like, he just starts going. I take him out of his kennel and he's like halfway across the house. So she's like, well, you need to put his harness on before you let him out. I'm like, okay, got it. But yep. It's been like a miracle. There's another dog I'm following in Texas that had, the same issue, and he's like a year later still not even walking. So, it's just, very good. He's got a really bad urinary tract infection though from that catheter.
Oh,
and some crazy antibiotic that's like dangerous to humans. We have to wear gloves, and it can, I don't know, kill everything. I guess it's radioactive. I'm not sure. But hopefully,
oh my word!
Hopefully that clears up, and he'll be good as new. And she thinks that maybe the reason why he's also having trouble peeing on his own is just because of that bladder infection.
That'll do it. UTIs are brutal for humans and animals. I'm so glad he's doing well. He looks so good.
I know. I was just watching. I put together a highlight on my Instagram, and I was like rewatching it, and I was like, I can't believe like the progression he made there. So
it was quick. Excuse me. Sorry. It was quick. I couldn't believe it when you posted that stuff. I was like, I can't believe he's moving already. I mean, that was major surgery for a little dog.
Yep. So the vet was like amazed because we let him walk in on his leash when we went for his recheck to get his stitches out and everything, and they were, grapefruit seed extract or isn't it grape seed extract or is it grapefruit?
Which one is it, Rochelle? She'll tell us. She'll let us know. Sometimes typing in the chat gets crazy. Oh. She said it knocked out Gizmo's yeast in a week, but I know the chat is a little behind.
I'll have to look that up because the somebody else reached out to me and they said there's some type of it's like a sugar type thing. Oh, okay, grapefruit. I will definitely look that up. There's a sugar that people take. It's not. I guess it's sugar, some type of sugar based. It's got some like medically word that I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh,
But
wow.
she says humans take it like that are paralyzed because they get UTIs, and she was saying like the number one of the highest reasons that they die is from UTIs.
Oh, wow.
There's some type of protein, a sugar protein that kind of coats the bladder, and
Oh,
it's just
wow.
like, good night along the
Night,
river.
Chrissy.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here. She just hit the big 1K.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. What's that?
I told you, like, I don't have time for YouTube.
You have a lot going on.
Yeah, so if that's how I was like, I'm super excited to jump on here because you're doing all the work. I just have to show up and talk. I appreciate all the hard work you've put into your channel, and just it's been amazing watching you grow. And
Oh,
and even all your homesteading and like getting all the stuff. I'm like, man, you've made more progress than I have in years that you've done in such a short amount of time.
well, I appreciate it, but you also had a farm that you have, you know what I mean? So it's like I sit there and look at your, you put the walkway in between the pig area, the pig pens, and then you got the metal huts and everything, and trying to figure stuff out. And I'm sitting there like, I want that too. But for me, the metal huts aren't sufficient because we need something for colder weather. So we usually need something that's ventilated, but we also need the option to be able to close them in if it's too cold at night. So I think, it's kind of like, different for both of us, but we didn't have all that stuff here. So the only building that we built, we did fencing, but the only building that we built was the pig building where the meat pigs were. And then we've changed the pen setup a million times. We were so proud of it the first time and it was great. And then we had the meat pigs, and then we decided to build pastures.
Mm-hmm.
So then it wasn't so good anymore. Then the meat pigs destroyed the fence, and we realized that we really like the kunis for that reason. And then we built a temporary pen for Grant, and now we finally got a fence up.
Yes, we've moved. But we had temporary fencing up for years because I was too afraid to like put in permanent fencing for all of we've cross fenced our 10 acres. We have A, B, C, D, E, and then the arena. So we have 6 different paddocks that we can put the animals in. And originally we only had the premier one, electric like fencing around everything. And that was good for the horses. And it was also good for the pigs. We had trained the pigs. We had the pig fencing too if we needed to use it, but they also knew not to touch, the wires because they're trained to that.
Right.
But then we got the cows could have cared less. They just knocked everything down and just destroyed everything. And so then I finally decided, we've had this for years. It worked great. Let's go ahead and put in real fencing. And then as soon as I got it halfway done, I was like, oh, I should have not done it this way because we have a big pond in the middle. Yeah. And so technically I should have cross-fenced it all so everybody had access to that pond so all your animals have water. That would be the smart way to do it because that was our only water source down there. And so then this past summer, Josh, we have one of those big square water tanks. We have to pick it up together, load it on the back of the truck, fill it up, and then go drive it down there to fill up all the troughs in the paddocks so the animals have water. And that was, a full-time job this summer because it's so hot here in Texas and cows drink a lot of water. So do pigs, but cows drink a lot more. We built those water barrels for the pigs, and that's been a lifesaver. So the cows and the troughs and just getting the water down there just was crazy. And so when I was in Germany, Josh and our friend Oscar rented a trencher, and we trenched all the way down back. And so everybody has one of those the hydrant in the paddock now, and we have water to all of our paddocks.
Jealous.
Yes, I'm like, I'm so sad it's winter time now. Like I want to go use all of the water things.
Yeah, I'm really jealous because, in fact, Ryan and I were just talking about it again. And the problem is if you've seen our property in the videos, if you can see, we have large granite rock outcroppings. The problem is a lot of them come down on an angle. And so it's not just rock you're going to hit, we're going to hit ledge. And I'm not going to blast to put a hydrant in. That's just too expensive. But we've looked at it, and the problem is with the small size of our 2 acres, we either are going to hit rock or we're going to be too close to a septic or a well, and it's not going to be allowed. So that's the battle we're having, because we wanted to put 2 in. Right now, we use a hose, and it's the time of the year where we have to disconnect the hose every night and let it drain. So we have it. So it's a real pain, but it's better than buckets. But otherwise, we're down to buckets. So this morning, they had about that much ice in their water because we hadn't put the waterers in yet, because there's a certain time of the year where you don't need them all the time. And the pigs are sleeping. They're not drinking. So we had this much ice just overnight. So I go down in the morning with a pitchfork, break it off, fill them up again. And I was telling Erin at Bramble Hill that it's time to put all the water heaters in. And so that becomes an issue because we have extension cords all over the place. But then I hear it's going to be in the 60s on Sunday and Monday. So I'm trying to figure out my plan Bs before that happens. But the past 2 days have been brutal. My chicken water, it was like a 7-gallon, frozen this morning.
Wow.
Frozen. I had to go get a heated dog bowl out to give to the chickens and all that. So it's a crazy time of the year. Funny how heat and cold, you really face some challenges no matter where you are. Sometimes you think it's easier in one than the other, but it's not, because you have to worry about heat stroke and everything like that. The pigs seem to do okay in the heat down there.
Yep, they do pretty well. I mean, we're always making sure they have pools, and someone picked up a piglet. Well, they were picking up 2 piglets, and we were, chatting and talking, and it wasn't that hot, but we left one in the back of the SUV in the kennel, and the door was open and everything. But when we came back, the poor little piglet was in there panting. So I was like, oh, if you ever see a pig panting, pigs are not supposed to be panting.
Right.
So I grabbed him and we went and dunked him in the water. And I'm like, sorry, you're going to have a wet pig, but this is safer than letting him sit here panting. So
yeah, for sure. I don't know if I can get solar, Rochelle, because the problem is in the wintertime, the sun is not as high.
And it takes a lot of electricity to run a heater to keep that ice from freezing or water from freezing.
Absolutely. And not only that, I mean, our electric fence, thankfully we have kunis now, but once they're trained to the fence, even if you have it off, they don't go near it. But Rochelle, we've actually had our fence off for a while. And that was because we had to fix it because the meat pigs pushed dirt against it and it was shorting out. But then when we get it fixed, the sun is lower now and it's different. And so it's really hard to pivot the solar box on our property with all the trees to get enough sun. So it's a pain. I wish I could do solar. It would be so much nicer. Good night, Broke Cowgirl. Thanks for being here.
Nice.
She also said, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
But yeah, we would love that. Right now, I've got extension cords going through the trees for the turkeys. And the chicken building has its own electricity, thankfully.
So did you grow your own turkey this year for Thanksgiving?
We decided not to. We bought 5 baby turkeys, and we ended up with 1 passed away, and then we have the 4 left, and they're both male-female pairs.
Oh, cool.
So we decided to keep them and breed them. So we're going to try that first. So that's why they're still with us. However, my ducks are probably going to go. I have 2 male ducks, and it's just the expensive feed and all that. And we really don't have a lot of interaction with them.
Well, my dad likes to have a duck egg every morning for breakfast. It's like his favorite. And so I don't like ducks because they're messy. They're just messy. They poop so much and they make a mess. So
yep.
But we only had 1 duck and she hasn't been laying that much. And so we bought some more ducks, and somehow the feed store was selling mallards or something because they were flying. And I'm like, yeah, I thought they were going to be Rowans, which look like the mallards. And these little things were flying. And then the other day I mentioned to Josh, I go, where are those 2 little ducks? And they're gone. They left. So they flew away. And then the other two, we had some khaki Campbells. They disappeared right away. And we have another Peking, and he is a boy. So out of the 5 ducks we bought, we have 1 boy and no eggs.
Yeah. I have 2 boys. The other 3 were taken or killed by a predator. But the 2 of them, oh, it's so funny. I told Daz at my Aussie Garden and Kitchen this and my other friends, but one of the days I was out there taking care of the chickens and I let them out of the coop and I turn around and I hear, and one of the khaki Campbell drakes went over the fence. They usually don't. And it was a calm, quiet day. And I was able to get him right back in, no problem. And I thought to myself, that's never happening again, ever. Well, yesterday, it's windy as all get out. Branches are all over the property. And I hear the same thing. And I turn around and he soared right out, way past the turkey coop.
Wow.
And then I try to get him back in and his friend comes flying out.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh, you guys. But I think what we're going to do is, you know, we originally wanted it because we wanted to breed the ducks and be able to have duck eggs and all that. And it didn't work out. And at this point now, it's just the 2 drakes. They don't free range because I don't want to let them with the chickens. They were eyeing my girls last night. I will tell you that much when they got out. And I didn't want anyone getting hurt because I know that can be really dangerous too. So I think we are going to process them. And then next year, I think what we might do is, in addition to meat birds, do some meat ducks. So we'll see. Because, you know, then it's all the water and all the upkeep and all that. So, and water's a hot commodity in the wintertime here.
Yes, for sure.
It's, you know, it's a scarce resource when you're trying to get it down there. So, and the pool is frozen over, so they can't even do their thing. You know, so I keep trying to bust it out, but it's not as easy in those cheap pools, you know. The rubber totes are a lot easier. You turn them over.
Yeah, for sure.
Your little guy is sitting there so quiet.
Yes, this is Slinky.
Hi, Slinky.
He thought he wants to be on camera, but now he's shy.
I see that. He's not even, oh, there he goes. He wasn't even licking you. Hey, Coffee Angel Press. Hey, Farm and HVAC. So what do you think is your favorite animal on the farm? Because clearly you love animals. So that's a hard one.
Yes, definitely the pig. So originally chickens were my favorite. I thought they were just the funnest things to watch. I used to spend a lot of time with them. They would jump up in my lap and, you know, I could pet them. I currently breed salmon Faverolles chickens. They're a rare French breed and they're on the threatened list. And they have furry feet, a bearded muff, and they're supposed to be the barnyard comedians, but I don't know if I'd even call them that. They're just kind of after getting to know the pigs and coonies, like the chickens. Josh hates the chickens because they poop everywhere. And they they're right now. They go inside of the house. They think they own the pigs' houses. You know, they go in there and the pigs are trying to give birth even, and they're in there like pecking at the mom, and so she's like trying to push a piglet out, and so we're like chasing these chickens out all the time, and just like so ridiculous. But
that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Note to self: keep the chickens locked up when there's farrowing going on.
Yeah, or even the piglets they'll and they like the spotted piglets are like, oh, this looks like food, so they're like trying to peck at the piglets' little spots. And the pigs' moms, they don't do anything; they just let their poor little babies get pecked on. But so definitely the pigs. I mean, they all have their own personalities. It's just crazy how smart they are. They just run up to you. They want to be cuddled. They will. If some of them like belly rubs, so all pigs don't like belly rubs, but the ones that do, they will run over and they'll just lay down at your feet and like force you to give them belly rubs because, you know, that's your purpose in their life is to rub their bellies.
Yeah.
And feed them, of course.
It's funny you say that about the belly rubs because the girl that I got Grant off of, so what happened was I found somebody in Rapid City who had kune pigs because, as I told you, impossible to find here in South Dakota. So I found someone who had them and all of the litter went like within hours. And I said to her, well, are you going to have any more? And she said, well, here's my number. Keep it. Contact me anytime. So I contacted her about when she said she might have more, pigs. Long story short, she had fallen on a different point in life and gave them away to this girl. And she says, hey, do you mind if I give her your number? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So she invites us up there.
Oh, cool.
Doesn't even know who we are. Lets us spend a couple hours up there. And her pigs are walking all around free ranging and having a blast. And I'm in my glory because I'm sitting there going, I didn't know they could free range. I thought they had to be penned up. so then all of hers are laying on the ground doing the belly rubs. And that's why I bring this story up. Well, when we go to get Grant, all of her pigs are laying around in front of me wanting belly rubs. And none of mine want belly rubs. I was thinking, what's wrong with my pigs? They don't want belly rubs. They'll take them standing up, but they don't want to lay down.
Ripley will not lay down for belly rubs. And we can only rub her belly if she's laying down already and it's at nighttime. So there's like a designated belly rub time for Ripley. And that's it. So she'll almost, if I scratch her on her shoulder, like a little further behind her ear, she'll almost fall down, trying to lean into that because that's like her place that she wants to be scratched.
Yep.
But yeah, belly rubs is only a nighttime thing.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's funny. And like I think Sherman likes it behind his ear too, and he likes his butt scratched. And then the girls like when I rub their heads. And it's just so funny how they all have different personalities. Because, Eleanor, I always tell people here on the channel that like Eleanor will come up to me and she's got this mouth where she goes, every single time.
Oh, loves you. That's I love you.
Yeah. And it's really cute because it's distinctly Eleanor. You know what I mean? And then, Sherman's different. Grant, I always tell everybody that Grant is preparing for the Linda Blair Exorcist remake. I put a short up today of him waiting to be fed, and oh my word, he is the craziest out of all of them. When the others were younger, they were crazy for food, but he's nuts. He's climbing up the fence. And I think of yours that escape all the time.
Yes, there's always the one in the litter, like escape artist.
Exactly. Somebody's asking. Well, Rochelle's asking if Ryan likes it behind his ears too. Yes, he does. But people are asking for your link. So I didn't get a chance to put everything down, excuse me, in the bottom, but you have live streams or you post the feed on YouTube, right?
Oh, I can do it here. Let's see here.
Yeah, if you can put it in the chat, and then you have a store. I'll post your Instagram if that works.
Okay. That's my live stream. So we live stream the piglets. Right now, if you go there, you may just see chicken heads because the chickens like sit in front of the camera now. Like I was saying, all day, like they think the house is theirs. So there's a live stream of the pigs, mostly up all the time. It crashes constantly. Are you putting it in the chat or are you? Oh, there you go. I put it in the private. There's like a private chat thing. Yeah, the private chat only comes to me, so and you have to do it there. I don't know. There's not a. Okay, chat. Hang on. I can do that because I have it here. I think. Oh, Lisa Colovi got it right here. Oh, that's my YouTube. Yep. And if you want to message it to me, okay, on Instagram, and then I can post it. Okay. I'll do that later. But yeah, we'll post my links. Yeah, and what we'll do also is I will put her after this. I'll have her send them to me, and I will have her. We'll post it in the description box below of the chat of the video, and then you also have a store, don't you? I do. I have an Etsy store. Just has some random things in it, I think, and working on maybe making some new merchandise. But yeah, if you send those links to me, I will post them down there, and then that way everybody can access it, when this posts later on tonight. Cool. But yeah, that would be awesome. Does in chat have any questions for me? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Does anyone have any chat questions for Rebeka?
I'm looking. Chat takes a minute. It's quicker on the phone.
And I guess I'm talking about my Zebu. Oh, got the two that weren't Zebus. And then this past year or so with kunis, I think, that's why I try to help people. Anybody that reaches out to me on Instagram, if you have any questions about kunis, I'm always there to help. I do work a full-time corporate job. And so sometimes I'm not answering until like sometimes me and Lisa are talking at 1:00 in the morning. Just because that's sometimes the only free time I have, but I always answer all my Instagram messages that I can. And I always love talking about pigs. So if you have any questions about kunis, I don't know anything about other breeds. And a lot of people try to contact me asking me things about other breeds. And I'm like, I really don't know. I've actually been talking to a lady that does, Mulberry Meadows Farm. She does like little tiny Juliana mini pigs. And so I got some information from her because I get a lot of people looking for mini pigs and I don't want to like make up lies. So I know some things. How big do kunis grow? So kunis are generally about 200 to almost to 400 pounds. So people that are trying to produce pork, you're going to want to grow a bigger pig. And so you can get these 400-pound kunis. The other farm that I used to partner a lot with here in Texas, but she's kind of died down. But her clientele was mainly Hispanic, and they like to have like roaster pigs. So she had young kids, and she's short and petite like me. So we like to have our pigs to be below the knee, so they're not like knocking our knees out when they're running around for food. So I like to get my pigs from her. A lot of my breeding stock came from her because she was already breeding that kind of smaller pig for these roasters. And then most of my people I sell to are actually like other hobby farmers, people that want to grow their own pasture pork that also want to have a smaller pig because they're more manageable. And I'm not doing any pork production at this current time. So that's around 200 to 400 pounds. Some of mine are only 150 pounds, but I tell people 200.
Yeah. I heard once that the goal was 200 by a year old.
And that is like, a dream thing. So if you'll see some complaints about that because people will say, oh, my kunis get to 200 pounds by a year old. And most of the time that is not true. And so it is a, something that breeders say to make it like more enticing but it's a slow growing pig. These are heritage pigs. They are meant to grow slow. And so usually you're not butchering a kuni for 18 months to 2 years sometimes.
Right. It's much different. I know that we were able to see that because we had the Mangalitsa, Duroc, and Berkshire pigs
so fast.
Yeah. And it's like, it was funny because we had, just like we had Eleanor and Fiona, where Fiona was so tiny and she finally caught up to Eleanor. We also had Winston, who was a lot smaller than Maggie. They both were kind of like runtish. And so it was really wild to see at the end that Winston was bigger than Maggie. And they grew so quick.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of people who want pet pigs are like, oh, I want the runt. The runt usually gets the biggest. So,
yeah, for sure. I saw somebody had a question for you. Hang on. Uncle Al was asking about hog mange.
Hog mange. Those are just mites, just like your dog. Dog, pigs, it's when their immune system gets compromised or, maybe, stress, the weather, whatnot can make the mites just do a little extra damage and then they're not able to fight it. So it's something normal that pigs get and they kind of have it living on them all the time. But if they're getting mangy, we just give them like a shot of ivermectin and that will clear it up twice, about 10 to 14 days apart from each other.
So you give an injection of ivermectin?
Well, you can give it orally, and if you do it orally, you'd have to look it up. We did when Ripley had mange, we were giving her like a minuscule amount, and then we did it for like daily for a few days. I think it was a week.
Gotcha. Cool. Leanne at the Mennonite farmhouse has a great sense of humor. She wants to know what your favorite bedtime story is. She's being a Weisenheimer.
I watch my nighttime routine is watching really bad TV, CW shows. I just finished. I don't know if you know about the Vampire Diaries, but there's like something called Legacies, which is like the Vampire Diaries after show. I don't know. So just finished watching that. But Josh usually falls asleep and tells me I'm watching horrible TV, and that's my bedtime stories or horrible TV shows, I guess.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good night, Mountain Grandma.
I'm going to agree that the slow-growing heritage breeds are nicer compared to factory farmed, and they live happy lives, you know, compared to factory farms as well. So that's what matters.
Exactly. And Tina Ladybug, it's Rebeka at Halbert Farm. She's on Instagram and YouTube, and I told everyone we're going to get the links and put them in the description box below when this posts. That way we'll have it up there.
My last name's just Halbert because Halbert Farm. It was my dad's farm in New York, so we just named the farm after him.
That's so cool. And yeah, Country Mama Musings was surprised that your bedtime story was not the Three Little Pigs. And Tina Ladybug liked the Vampire Diaries. And Uncle Al is in the prepping community. So that's why he's asking acorns or pumpkins for hog food. I know pumpkins.
Both. So really? I learned something new this year. In medieval times, it's called panage or panage. It's a French word, but that's when the hog farmers would let the pigs out into the forest to eat all the acorns, and because acorns are dangerous for horses and cows, and they can kill them. So, but they're okay for pigs. You want to make sure the acorns are not green, so they're brown and I guess ripe, and so you can let them eat all the acorns they want. Well, not all. It can still cause kidney damage. So you do want to be careful not to let them eat all the acorns. So, we have acorn trees or oak trees, I guess they're called, in our backyard. We don't have acorns in Hawaii where I grew up. So I'm not super acorn smart. But anyways, we have them in our backyard. Ripley, of course, is out there eating acorns 24/7 if she could. So what I have to do when the acorns are dropping is I let all the adults and other pigs in the backyard just to kind of slow that down, or she's not eating as much. Their poop will turn a dark red color, and their urine will turn dark as well.
Wow.
So that is normal, but again, I would limit their intake if you can, depending on how many pigs you have. If you can limit what they're eating, 2 hours a day foraging is fine. Yep. Then we have a lot of people that collect acorns and they just drop them off to our farm for free. And so then we'll, throw a bucket full in to the pens with the pigs a day. But acorns are great for them. The Italians actually will fatten their pigs on acorns only, and it's a special type of meat, and it makes it taste a little bit different.
Yep.
So you can look into that. And then pumpkins, again, everybody's been doing it this year too, is just putting an ad up saying, hey, bring your fall decorations to the farm and you can feed the pigs. So we have a little pen out front. We put the pigs in there. And we just let people kind of toss their pumpkins in. And the pigs actually kind of get full of pumpkin and don't like it anymore. So we'll give them a couple pumpkins a day, and then they're pretty happy. The chickens like to eat the pumpkin too. So and the cows even will eat the pumpkin.
That's cool. That's cool. Uncle Al corrected me. He's not a prepper. He's an old-time survivalist. Sorry, Uncle Al. And hello, Andale. Thanks for listening in. I know it's kind of over the hour, and I want to be mindful of your time, but can I just throw out a last call for any questions?
Yeah, for sure. This
is
great.
Awesome. Well, last call for any questions, because I have a question for Rebeka. But I see Al already has one up there, so I'll wait for mine. But he said, is it the tannin acid that causes dark?
I think he's telling us it's a tannin acid.
Oh.
The dark urine. I think, but that sounds right to me.
Okay. My question is, do you know anything about pine needles? I think we've talked about it before, but I want to throw it out there for people because I've talked about it here. Do you know anything about pine needles causing issues with pregnant kunis?
I think I was Googling it when you asked me about it, and I don't remember what I read, but I don't think, they're not eating the pine needles, are they?
I think they do eat them because they are in their water and stuff. I'm going to do some more research, obviously, because I have some time until the spring. But I guess what I'm trying to figure out is it dead versus alive pine needles, because that would really help out because dead ones are all over the ground. We have no acorns whatsoever.
I would say, well, I really don't think they're going to eat the dead pine needles. And if they're in their water, maybe they're drinking it. But have you seen them like actually munching on pine needles?
When they've been eating something in the dirt or, picking at feet on the ground. I mean, I don't know that I've actually seen them ingest them, but I do know that they're all over, and we've tried to rake them out because I think it's good practice anyway to keep the pens clean because it's small. But so we'll see. I'm going to do more research on it, but if you're, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but just something to think about. I would love to do a kune care thing like this, if that's something you would be interested in the future sometime.
Yeah, I would definitely like to do that. And so Josh is Googling it for us, just saying that. Ponderosa pine. Do you have ponderosa pine?
Yep, that's what we have.
So it contains an acid in the needles that cause miscarriages in livestock. But is it the dead needles or the live needles? Now you have to figure that out.
Josh is doing good.
He will. So, but I mean, in my experience, since you have them everywhere, they're fed and they're happy. I guess, if when they're pregnant, try to keep that raked up just so they don't accidentally ingest anything. But I'm pretty sure they probably have to eat, a little bit more than just like one little pine needle to cause issues. And they're pretty smart. They, like the cows, we have the acorns and stuff are also down in the back pastures, but the cows and horses don't eat them.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of bushcrafters do make pine needle tea, and that's why it blows my mind. And of course, after we got the pastures up, we found that out. And then we were like, we should have cut all the trees down. Now it's like, if you cut the trees down, the fence is going too.
Yeah. Well, no.
That's what.
You'll like the trees to have it's a dead needle that's bad. I would hope it's the live needle. Darn.
I would much prefer it to be the live one.
Yeah, me too. But if it's a dead needle, I mean, none of my pigs eat dead plants. They'll eat the hay and alfalfa, but they're not, we have some pine. We have some like the weird bushes with kind of like pine needle stuff on it. Yeah. They don't touch it. They love that milkweed. The pigs love milkweed.
Oh, wow.
It's like I don't know. It's like, that weed that's got white milky stuff in it. For some reason, they love to eat that weed.
Oh, wow. I didn't think they could for some reason. I had it in my head that was a poisonous plant. I'm totally
for humans.
bad at foraging.
But I let the pigs eat it, and they love it. And I'm happy because that's the one weed I don't have to pull. I'm like, well, you just eat these. There's these little yellow flowers here in Texas, and I think they call it bitter weed or bitter flower or something. And it's supposed to mean that your soil's lacking something, and I hate those dumb yellow flowers. So I'm like, why won't you pigs eat it?
Good night, Anita. Thanks for being here. Anita's in Australia, so she's probably running around during her day.
Wow.
Well, it was funny. I just wanted to tell you real quick because I don't want to keep you. I know that we've used a lot of your time, but you were talking about that Premier One fence, and I was thinking back to when we first got our pigs. We had them so close to the house in the fence, and then it was nice to get them into the pastures. And then it's funny, now we've got the girls back up because wintertime, it's just easier to have everybody there. But it's neat when you think about it and you look at how things evolve overall, when you're doing it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, well, we're probably going to continue, but I wanted to thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for watching and being here. And we will make sure we put all of Rebeka's links in there. And you're welcome to stick around if you want, but I didn't want you to feel the pressure to be on screen if you didn't want to. You got stuff to do, and it's late.
Okay. Yeah, I can.
Dry needles should be fine.
I could hang out. Dry needles should be fine. Okay, Josh says he's reading dry needles should be fine. We'll try
dry needles.
Yeah, the dead needles should be okay.
Pine can actually be a natural dewormer.
Pine can be a natural dewormer.
Wow.
I'll get him to send you the links.
Thanks, Josh. I mean, I'm still going to do my research. I appreciate it, but that's really cool. Thank you. I use the dead needles for mulching. I have like peonies. It's hard to have flowers here because the deer eat them. So, but yeah.
Your Nightbot does all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, I set it up. I don't know how good it is, but I kind of set it up.
To do things. I might have a Nightbot on my Twitch. So maybe you could figure out Twitch.
I would have to figure it out.
You could live stream your, do you go live on Twitch too, as well as YouTube?
No.
Because you could, you should figure out how to do that, like stream to both places, and you can go live. But the only problem is monitoring chats in both places, but what might be difficult. I'm not sure. I've never used a StreamYard, so this is super cool. Like, this is really easy and fun.
Yeah, I use StreamYard if I'm bringing somebody up, and you only get so many hours free if you use it free. And then I also use Melon for free, and it limits how many people. I can actually have 6 people on screen with StreamYard, but you only get so many hours a month. And as all of us YouTubers are working towards our 4K watch hours, we tend to go live a lot. So, but yeah, Scott at Rambling with the Brooms, he's a YouTube channel, and he does his lives on YouTube and sends them out through Twitch.
Oh, neat.
But yeah, if you send me all that stuff, that would be cool. Does anybody want to come up and say hey to Rebeka? I know it's a Friday night, it gets late, and everybody's like, and that's half the time why I'm talking to you at 1 o'clock in the morning, because it's your 1 o'clock night for me.
Well, then, yeah, but it's still late. Especially
it is, I know.
Homesteader, when we're supposed to be up early, feeding the animals.
I know.
I'm a morning person, though.
Me neither. Ryan calls me the lazy steader. Although now I've been getting up because I'm actually leaving work on the 24th of November, and I'll be doing the farming full time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so exciting. I can't
Thank you. It'll be great next year when we're farrowing and all that. I'll actually be able to be here and not have to worry and all that. So that'll be good, because being an hour away is going to be too hard.
Wow. Yeah. Fortunately, I work from home, so I just kind of roll out of bed and go to my computer.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been telling my coworkers, I'm like, there's just nothing like waking up at 6:30 and going to feed the animals. Because here it was dark for a while, and I was waiting until after 7 because I always worry about coyotes. So I was waiting, and I said it's still different because you go down in your pajamas and a hoodie and you go feed the animals.
Yeah, definitely.
But anybody want to come on up? I'm just curious. I'll give you a last chance. Otherwise, we'll end it and call it a good night. Let me just see here. But we really appreciate you being on. That's really cool. I love that picture of you and Ripley. What great pictures.
I know. I got invited to a JROTC Navy ball a week or two before that, and I was like, oh, I had to get some pictures of Ripley, and then I forgot that Veterans Day was coming up until after I got the pictures. I was like, oh my God, I'm so smart. I have a new Veterans Day picture for Ripley. And usually my employer does a whole, like, they ask people for our veteran pictures. So I was like going to give them one of me and Ripley. And they didn't get our pictures this year. They just did 3. They did like highlighted 3 people instead of everybody. So I was sad.
Oh, well, Josh at Skinner Farm said he couldn't roll out of bed and go to a computer because he sleeps naked. So thank you, Josh.
You can go to the computer naked.
There's Uncle Al.
Hi, I'm an old-time survivalist, guys. And what Rebecca's talking about, it's true on acorns. But a lot of people in America don't understand that kind of acorn in Italy is different from here. Here we got tanning acids, and that I tell people, if you're going to feed acorns, you have to leach the acorns to release the tanning acids, because same as people, we have kidney problems if we don't leach out the tannin. Your urine turns dark. I used to eat a lot of acorn mush, so that's why they're asking me for 2 urine samples in December and January. It's like I'm still peeing in the cups, to my doctor. I'm 62.
How do we
Pumpkins,
leach the tannins out
just soak it in water.
in water?
Yeah, you put 1 5-gallon bucket and then you switch it to the next 5-gallon bucket. Make sure you take the shell off. That gives the pigs the most problems. Arthritis, heart attack, kidney disease. You ever seen a pig with stones?
Kidney stones?
Yeah, it's not fun, especially with that high pitched wheel. Now you seen Josh if you had a kidney stone.
I've seen
You
a
see,
human with a kidney stone. But
yeah,
I
you
can
seen
imagine
Josh
that.
screaming. Ah, okay. You see a little pig screaming. Not fun.
I bet.
Yeah, and then they don't like it when you're trying to help them. I'll relieve the pain, and they're looking. I'm going to kill you.
Kill you. Yeah.
Yeah, because pigs are fun. Goats, you have to have 2 acres regular grazing, and then you have 10 acres of brush because they're nibblers. They like to chew.
Yes.
So if they don't have brush to chew, you'll find out every wooden surface in the area is
That's how
chewed on.
we're having to cut all these trees and branches to bring to these little goats we had in the beginning. And I was like, this is not normal.
Right.
Wow.
I tell people what you do is you have neighbor with brush problems. I have a bunch of little dwarf goats. They love brush. And then you get their money. How much is going to cost me? $300 per goat. And that's $600 in your little hands. And the goat looks cute. They got rid of the brush because I used to do it to the state of California with 25 big goats. But they said, oh, we don't need it. There's no such thing as wildfire.
Well, they use
Boy,
sheep now in California.
Yeah, but you've kind of noticed how many wildfires do we had here?
Yep.
Because they don't think. They said, why do we have to pay this old Japanese guy with a herd of goats? Okay, folks, if you're doing like my favorite animals are goats and pigs, because that's why I always ask everybody on hog mange, you have to be careful on the mite, and you have to use after the medication, you have to check the skin because a lot of people they don't check the skin, and you get like hog scabies. You ever seen that?
Mhm.
That's when you have to put. You ever lotion a pig at 3 a.m? It's not fun.
Yes, yes.
You have a bottle of lotion, and there's a pig running around screaming at you. Because if you don't, it'll cause bleeding, and you don't want that on a pig because God, hog veterinarians, they look at you. Why didn't you put the medication on them? They tend to, when I do it, they tend to scream and run away. And the vet's looking at you like, where the hell this city slicker came from? Am I right, Rebeka?
Yes, you are. We had a boar with he got a stomach ulcer
Yeah.
because we were giving him too many sweets, and the vet wanted us to give him, Prilosec basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are we supposed to get a pill into the angry boar's mouth? Like how? And they're like, I don't know. You just have to figure it out.
How many fingers do I have left? No, there's an easy way to do the pills. You put it in either cheese or peanut butter like a dog. I found out with my boar, I used to wrap it up in whatchamacallit, baked acorn. And he goes nuts because it's baked acorn. And if I put a little cinnamon on it, like, what acorn squash?
Squash?
Yeah, just stick it in there. And he's like, next thing is like, get off me, you stupid pig. It's like 300 pounds charging at you. Acorn squash, acorn squash. You want to see pig goes nuts? Feed them butternut squash.
Crazy.
You make a slop, you steam it, you put it out there. Do you want to see pigs run and knock over a hog fence really fast? You'll hold a bucket of steaming butternut squash. They look at you like,
You're awesome, Al.
yeah, because I did this. That's why I'm retired and I live in the suburbs. I don't want to wake up in the morning with a pistol on my hip looking for coyotes or wolves or mountain lions or bobcat. And I got 2 big buckets of slop, hot. A lot of people don't know what slop is. I tell people, basically it's rolled oats, rolled corn, molasses. I forgot what else I put in there. Rolled oats, rolled corn. Yeah, you try feeding that stuff not cooked, the pigs will look at you like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yep.
And I'm there cooking, these stupid pigs. And I had to put it in the bucket, fill both buckets up because it isn't warm and it's not in their trough. They will give you this ugly look like it's cold and there's no molasses in it.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Lori World.
Yeah, so I just wanted to introduce you guys. So Rebecca Aaron at Bramble Hill was in the chat earlier. She's in Canada and she has cows and she also has chickens and ducks and she's about to get baby doll sheep.
Ooh.
And then Lori's World, she's also in Canada. And she's had a killer garden for Shed Wars this year.
Wow.
And an awesome Mima.
Yeah.
Very
Small
nice.
but mighty.
Small but mighty.
Right. Lisa, you still haven't got the Christmas cards? Because
No.
I do that to other YouTubers. I make sure they get a Christmas card, but this year with the mail service like it is,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like my friends, we sent Chaga tea and I said, did it came? No. The mail service thought it was drugs, so they opened up the letter
Oh
and they took out the package of chaga tea, which is a type of mushroom grows on a tree,
Yep.
and you could use it as it tastes like dirt. So I tell a lot of people when you drink it, add a lot of honey and cinnamon, so it doesn't have that earthy flavor.
no. Earthy. Dirty flavor.
No,
Yeah, it's
Al,
like you know.
Al, I went to the post office. Actually, somebody else had sent me a package and was perplexed that it didn't reach me yet. So I've been going like every day and nothing yet. I'll let you know as soon as I get it. But
Right.
Well,
It's
Lori
just-
and
yeah,
I
I know
know
the
that in
postal-
Canada to get mail Christmas cards from the States or anywhere takes. I had one arrive in like March last year because they sent it,
oh,
a week or two before Christmas. Did
There
you
you go,
kick her
sorry.
out?
no,
Anyway,
it
I must
could
be
be
the
the
short key. I'm sorry.
yeah. It's whatchamacallit? It's the full moon up in the sky. Plus, we have the what the heck did I wrote it down? I do sky watching, so I have a lot of interesting hobbies. I have whole pages of notes. South Torrid meteor shower, and then we have like a weak kind of ion storm. That's why you see the nice weird lights in the sky. It's not a UFO, folks.
Yep. I just want to tell Rebecca because you guys, we're all used to the YouTube world. We'll be on here forever. But I just want to tell Rebecca, like, I know if at any point you want to head out, just like you got to put a hand up.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's what 1
you
o'clock.
gotta
over there?
interrupt.
Yeah,
It's
because we're
not-
usually here about 2 hours total.
Okay. No, I didn't know there was a whole YouTube community and you have like friends.
Oh yeah.
She didn't know you had friends, Lisa.
I don't have any.
I'm just joking. We all know what you meant. I'm just being
So
difficult.
Josh is taking
I'm
his
just being
video.
difficult.
No, like,
Right.
I'm just enjoying this. So
Okay,
It's
well, I
fun,
just,
isn't it? It's fun.
Yeah.
wanted to give you the heads up because I didn't want you to be sitting there like, oh, I'm trying to be polite and I want to go to bed. I wanted you to be honest.
There are all these weird people hanging out
Yeah.
so long.
Good
She's
one,
like,
Lord.
I was a guest, and now there's like some party that I can't remove myself from.
So did you guys all just meet from your different YouTube channels?
Yep.
And you all go on lives and like do interviews and things as well, or
Yep.
Yep,
so I need
Yeah.
to go and subscribe to everybody.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, it gets there's
But-
some problems with that, folks, too. I have to warn people there's a lot of trolls and kooks out there.
Mhm.
You have to be very careful because I'm a church elder, and I keep telling people if it can't be a social clique or a club because there's too much jocularity, and everybody looks at me like, "What the hell's jocularity?" Most of the time, I'm volunteering at the church, and I had to explain people its use of coarse and disgusting language, and they're looking at me. So you're like that guy on MASH, Father Mahoney. No, it's Father Mulcahy.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're looking at me. Yeah, but MASH was like what 100 years ago. I'm like, oh God, because I'm 62. I don't look like it. You see the trick, folks? You have a little plastic surgery and you dye your hair black.
I thought it was the acorns.
What?
I thought it was the acorns.
No. Like I said, I'm an old school survivalist. And I used to know some people that owns a casino. They're Native Americans, and I went to one of their festivals for the acorn, and they showed me thousands and 10,000-year-old stones where they have holes in the granite, and their tribe used to take the leached acorns and make it into mush. They grind it up,
Wow.
and this I can't take the pictures of it because it's a sacred ground. Because it looks bad. You're on sacred Indian ground and you're filming them for YouTube.
Oh man, make it.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to enjoy it too much. I don't want to be kill that Indian casino violating their sacred grounds. I'm like,
Okay.
oh God.
Lisa's put all the links to your guys' YouTubes here for me, so I can
Oh, thank you.
click on things. So I'm subscribing. Whatever
You're
YouTube
awesome.
she's done here. I got
Yeah.
Lori.
The nice thing,
Lori's World.
Rebecca, is that it's kind of fun because we've all become kind of friends. What is that?
That was Lori's World.
Oh, and there's such a
That's
support
my channel.
system, and it really is remarkable. Like we have, kind of a certain group of people that we have come across in this journey who we watch every video of each other's like through 100%, and just
Yep.
sharing the love and supporting each other, and it's really neat. It's really neat.
Right. I have to warn people, Alina, on if you watch people's videos, only do it 3 at a time because they have a bot on YouTube that's a robot that monitors you, reports it to China, saying they're watching this too long, and they'll knock off hours. Do you know what they did to me because I made that stupid one LGB poem I did? They got really upset because I wore dark glasses. I was doing the worst cheerleading song for that phrase, those 3 words. They took 600 hours away from me. They put me in a YouTube ghetto. And I figure what other damage they did to me. They deleted 300 of my videos. I used to have 1,600 videos. They deleted 300 of my videos. And they're telling me, oh, you're not in a ghetto. Wait, I'm the only Japanese survivalist. And all of a sudden, I went from getting 50 views down to 3
Wow.
in a 4-hour period because I always time and check, because all I do is talking about, you don't have to buy this bucket of food for $50. Go to a grocery store. Everything's there. Just put in smaller
Your
packages.
own bucket of food.
Yeah, do your own bucket of food because
Yeah.
why pay these guys and ever ate one of those buckets of food?
No.
No, try it.
Maurice.
Yeah, I can't say that because I got in trouble. Yes, I know about MREs. I know every place in the world MREs. I know the development of it because I'm old school. I used to eat sea rats.
Oh my.
You know what that is. A lot of people don't know. You had a B2 or B1 unit, and you had the main meal, and you had your choice of fruit. And the worst ones I ever ate was ham and eggs.
I was picturing an actual sea rat.
No.
It's like that is for rations.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
know.
the worst one I ate was ham and eggs. And guess when I got a freeze-dried ones, the lerp ones? Ham and eggs freeze-dried. It's like, it's a curse. Somebody sent my nephew or niece sent me one of those new tan bags. And I thought, oh, that would be great. I'll open one up and I'll try the new. And I look inside and it says, this meal contains ham and egg pouch.
Jeez.
It's like nonstop. I don't know why.
I have a YouTube
The one that
question
you want
for you
to
guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Rebeka.
Because they just sent an email to me saying I could get my custom YouTube URL, and so I went to click on it and I followed the directions. It doesn't exist where it's supposed to be. I read the qualifications, and I feel like I meet all of the qualifications. And I see some people have the custom URL and some of you guys don't. So
You have to have
How long?
100 subscribers was my understanding, unless they change.
Yeah, they keep changing on it.
And it sometimes takes a few days for it to actually recognize
right.
that you've hit
Yeah.
that milestone. If you haven't actually received an email from them yet congratulating you on that milestone,
okay.
then it could take until then before that actually kicks through.
Okay. So maybe I got an
Yeah,
email.
it takes a
talking
long
about-
time from China to America, you know, because I keep telling people it's
Somebody's
not on
gotta
the West
swim.
Coast anymore. It's in Shandong. And like, look, people are looking, where's Shandong? That's the YouTube office. Because
Hey,
it's-
Rebeka, I looked on your Instagram because I'm posting your links and I just want to make sure I'm posting appropriately. I did Instagram and YouTube, but on your Instagram, you have a link tree.
Yes.
Is that okay for me to post or no?
Yeah, you can post that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to say hello to Bard Run Forge, I think,
Yep.
and Tina Ladybug. Hi, guys.
Yeah,
Because-
that's Troy.
Yeah, that's Troy. I can't see sometimes because I had 4 eye surgeries in the past 4 years because I have eye damage. One bad thing about when you do homesteading is parasites, folks. And that's why I keep talking about hog mange and skin disease, because I'm around dairy cows, and dairy cows has this weird little bug. And if you sleep and that bug gets into your eye, how can I say it? You ever have worms in your eyes?
It can make you go blind.
Heard
Right.
about him, yeah.
Yeah, but they caught it early and they killed the bug. So if you've seen some of my videos, I got a eye patch on this eye and I have an eye patch on this eye. They said, we want to do both. So I can't walk around the rest of my life like this with 2 eye patches. It's a little hard to drive.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Oh, and then one time, because I had too much brain fluid, they popped my eyeball and lasered into my skull. So I have memory issues, so I'm not too sure if I did this, if I was in the service. But I had a newspaper article somebody sent me, and they say, thank you for helping everybody out with their survival needs. And they said, yes, you were in the military, but I don't remember. I had 2 strokes. And also I'm hallucinating a bit too. So I have to be careful because last year they had me dead. I keep showing it's a birth certificate. And they said, no, it's too old. It was signed by, on the bottom, you know, whoever's acting president.
Hi,
Mine
Gail.
was signed by Eisenhower. So they're all looking at me. No, that birth certificate's too old. You have to go back to the hospital to get a new one, a federally improved birth certificate. God, that was a mess. That cost me $200 to get there, $75 to file it. I had to prove I'm not an alien. No, I was born here. I'm trying to get my birth certificate.
Oh,
But it
Al,
says
I
you're
just don't
dead.
know.
Yeah, it says you're dead and you're buried in Visalia. I'm looking at him. That's my father. He died in 83. And they're looking at me like, are you sure? Because our first names are is different. He spells his name Allen. Mine's Alan. Because of that, they're looking at me. You're sure you're alive? I'm still having trouble with Social Security. It's like, are you
Oh
sure
my
you're this
gosh.
person?
That's awful.
It is. It's horrifying at times. I tend to. Sorry, it's when you have brain damage and had 2 strokes, you
I
tend to
better run.
run your mouth too much. Sorry about that, Lori. And Edwina and Rebecca. I know you guys want to talk, but sometimes
It's
No,
that's
okay.
why
We love you.
I don't do a live stream.
I'm scrolling up through all this chat, like subscribing to all the YouTube channels that Lisa Cavoli was posting.
Yeah.
What's going on with you, Lori?
My garden is growing, my indoor garden. So that's quite exciting. I don't have any animals. We're not allowed to have, well, I mean, I have cats, but that's not like having farm animals.
What are you growing, Lori?
Just salad.
Yep.
Nice.
Lettuce and a little bush tomato and some peppers and a little
Yum.
cabbage and just a variety of. It's my first indoor winter garden. So
Sounds
Nice.
great.
Do you have a lemon tree? I've been wanting to get an indoor lemon tree or lemon bush.
oh, nice. I don't have one. It gets cold up here.
No, but it's an indoor one.
Is it always indoors?
It's supposed to be. I was just reading about them online recently because I don't remember why I wanted lemons, but I wanted lemons. I think
I have a lemon
I
tree.
was like really upset that there was no lemons at the grocery store. I'm like, who does this? I'm like, if I had my own lemon tree, this wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Well, it's so fresh too, right?
Oh yeah, it would be so good.
Yeah.
I overwintered my peppers this year for the first time. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, nice.
I have them down by the wood stove in the basement where it's always toasty warm.
Yeah.
And there's 3 little buds on them now for
nice.
new peppers,
Wow.
which I just about I couldn't believe it. So we'll see what happens. But I don't expect to get peppers. I don't care about that. But I'm just gonna see if I can keep the plant alive. It's a jalapeno one. That one is.
How do you keep what light do you have for it?
I don't have any light, so it's just going to be a huge experiment. But somebody who lives locally here told me that they brought theirs in, because it's obviously in a pot. Because ours has to be in a pot because it snows until June and frosts and stuff, and so you would never be able to grow them. But I had an amazing harvest this year, and so I brought one of the pots in just for an experiment. So I don't know, but where it sits, it's a south-facing window, and by the wood fire, so it's always going to be warm. But we don't get a lot of light, like the sun comes up at 8 and is down by 3. So I don't know how it'll do, but without the supplemental light, I'm not going to go all out and do all that. I could, but I'm just gonna see what happens. It'll be interesting.
Give it a shot. Can't hurt, right?
Yeah, it can't hurt, and if it doesn't work, then
happen.
yeah, I mean whatever, right?
I got tricks up my sleeve, Edwina. You try and raise citrus fruit? What
No,
location?
I was asking.
Yeah, I would like to as well.
Okay. If your climate's cold, you make a Martian thermal trench. And people look at me like, what the hell's a Martian thermal trench? Basically, you dig a hole in the ground. You have ductwork goes into the ground. You get the warmth of the heat of the earth into there, and you add a little stove and stuff. Basically, you have one plastic dome shape over the area you're growing in. You have a dug out trench where you could walk, and you grow stuff on either side because I'm getting old. I don't like to bend over, because I already
I think
lost
it's
height.
hard where we live though when it's minus 50. I don't think
True.
that works.
But there's a trick. There's a trick.
Cold part of Canada, don't you?
Yeah, you're living up towards Ontario or towards Quebec, Saskatchewan.
Mountains of British Columbia.
You're not on the coast, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, that part's going to
I'm
be
on an
hard.
island,
Yeah, island's
so
good, but
big time different weather between, and we're not that far apart, really.
No.
We're in the same province.
right.
And my
Different
climate
weather.
is so much different than down in town too, because I'm almost up where the ski hill is located too. So there's
Right.
Okay.
1,000 feet of difference between us, even
Right,
Yeah,
it's
or
elevation.
meters. I mean, yeah.
Right, you could still
Hey,
do this.
Tony.
sounds like
Right.
Nisi.
Yeah, you could still do the thermal trench, but the trouble is you're not going to like how it's shaped because the second dome over the first dome holds in the solar passive heat. But in cold climates, you put heat air through that dome because I've seen it in Iceland when they do this, the Marshall Thermal Trench. And it's a big operation for only 100 feet of vegetables.
Too
'Cause they
much
got-
work for me.
Yeah, it is. It's way too much work because
You know
they
what you
got
need to do? You know what you need to do though? But Uncle Al's got a good point, Aaron. Wendy at Hardneck Farms is doing a greenhouse and they split the kit with family members and they're doing this like geothermal greenhouse.
Yeah. My I call her a neighbor because, as Lori will know, everybody in Canada is your neighbor, even if they live 30 minutes away from you. But my neighbor had had that, and I think it kept 50 degrees Fahrenheit all winter long.
Wow.
So, but
Wow, that would work.
yeah, yeah, there's definitely ways to do it. I just
Need
honestly
20
probably
grand?
am just not committed to it, you know.
Right, I was gonna say you have to be dedicated to doing it if you're gonna have the expense of putting it all up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I seen one guy in Newfoundland that did the Martian thermal print. He went all out. I'm like, and he's growing bananas. I'm like, you're
Oh
growing
man,
bananas in Newfoundland, which was
crazy.
I try to grow bananas here in a pot. I only got 2 little bananas. I did a video. I ate one. It's like the
Crazy.
world's smallest banana. I said, nope, throw it out.
So
I'm not doing that anymore. I had it
we'll
right
teach
here.
you. We'll teach you how to say it properly. It's Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. I'm
And
American. I
nobody
can't
found
pronounce
anything.
Yeah, so now you know. So now you'll know. Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
Yep.
Newfoundland, yeah. Nobody
Yeah,
found anything.
Not
Right.
Newfoundland, Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
Mhm.
But the weird part about that, don't you guys got a French colony near Newfoundland?
Yeah, well, a lot of Eastern Canada is French speaking, particularly around Quebec, certainly in Ontario and some of the maritime provinces as well. Not as much out west, but there certainly are pockets here and there. But yeah, a lot of Eastern Canada is French speaking. Yeah.
Yep. Western Canada is kind of a wild mix. You got a lot of Korean, Chinese, so
Mhm.
it's like okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of people from India. We have a lot of Asian representation from many different countries. It's yeah.
It's a mix because
Mhm.
my friend
Yep.
said he heard Cantonese, Mandarin, that dialect that nobody understands from Hong Kong and
Hey,
Macau. I gave up on Macau, the Chinese residents, because they speak with a Portuguese accent. And I'm trying like, what did he say in Chinese? Because it has that. If you, I can't remember if I speak a foreign language. I'm Asian, right?
You're Japanese.
Oh, okay.
But you're
good.
not from every country.
No,
Right, Troy?
but I used to be good with different languages. My sister's great. She speaks 7. She
Wow.
speaks
Wow.
Hindi, Russian, German, French,
Wow.
Japanese. I think
English.
English. I think
Super
Spanish
neat.
too, and then sign language
Wow.
because she's a natural. She went on a scholarship to Japan, and that's how she met her husband, who's a doctor.
Oh,
Who
wow.
went to Japan to whatchamacallit? What's that word when you
Emigrate?
no, it's for training for your
Intern?
yeah, internship over in Japan. He was taking care of pediatric kids.
Oh, his
Oh,
resident.
like a residency.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
only
wow.
for like 2 years, and then he came back to the United States, and they got married, and he has like ER degrees, and
Or fellowship, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of interesting because
Oh.
I just don't remember too well.
Yes. AZ Highland Homestead asked if they missed a kune
Yeah.
discussion.
Oh,
Yeah,
you'll have to go back. Did you ever? You missed the pigs on the actual feed.
So Nick, we were talking about we were interviewing Rebeka, and excuse me, and I did ask her if coming up in the future, if she would come back and do a kune specific kind of stream, and she said yes. So we'll see when we can do that. But if you look at the beginning, we
Awesome.
did that. I'm gonna grab some water, guys. Excuse me 1 second.
I have
No
to
problem.
head out
I
to
did
put the
the
kids
same.
to bed. Have a good night, everyone.
Night, Erin.
Good night, Erin.
You guys, this was a lot
Nice
of
to meet
fun.
you, Rebeka. Good night,
Putting
Lori.
me in
Good
the
night,
world.
Al. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab water. I'll be right back
Yeah,
if you
go
don't
grab water. I'll talk to Rebeka.
mind.
And then Lori over here. Yeah, I like Canada except for certain weird regions. Yeah.
There's some
Because,
weird
yeah, and then I understand Rebeka when you went to Europe, right?
hmm
Yeah.
I went
It's
to
like
Germany and I've been to Japan.
yeah, it's like it's fun in Japan. That's the only country I haven't been there yet. I think I've been to no, I haven't been to Japan. I'm not too sure. My memory's shot. So, my therapist says I'm a lighthouse. You're a lighthouse person. You have to prove everything that you did in the past because it's so easy to um, gaslight you. You know, somebody says you didn't do that, and another person, I was with him. He used to be my roommate. And I'm like, okay, who are these people and why are they arguing about me? You know, so I have to be very careful.
Hi, Donna.
Yeah,
Hello, Susan's Ramblings.
hi, Susan. Hi, Donna. Yeah, go ahead.
Very
That's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah, so I have to be careful because I got in trouble because I said something and somebody didn't like it. And so I have to be really careful because a lot of you guys, I used to run with conspiracy theorists, but YouTube doesn't like us. I mean, really don't like us. And I was talking to a friend last summer and I told people about this movie from 2012 that's been on YouTube, uh, um, FXN or something like that. I don't know. But it's a good movie. It's about the OMAN war by Britain's AS and a certain secret groups. And some guy wrote a book about it, and he almost got assassinated because it's kind of a how can I say it? They didn't want to pay their vets from serving this war, so this government group kind of knocked off their vets, but not telling everybody about it. And it kind of scared me because if you're a vet, I don't think I'm a vet, but they paid me 60 back in the 70s. They paid me extra $65. I know because I signed the check. Oh yeah, great. And back in those days, back in like 79, I think I was in the Air Force, but I'm not too sure. That was big money in the 70s. I still can't figure out when I came out of the Air Force with $25,000, and they said if I stayed another 4 years, they'll pay me $5,000. And I'm looking at them. Okay, that memory's kind of weird. How in the hell did I get $25,000 coming out of the Air Force when the month before I only had $400 in the bank?
Maybe you had a lot of vacation time saved up.
I don't remember.
Because
But
they have to
it
out of
kind
vacation time at the end. But I mean,
not
25,000 is a lot of money. You can only
yeah. I don't think I 4 years and plus 2 years in active reserve because I couldn't get into the Air National Guard.
That is a thing.
Yeah, I couldn't get it or the Air Force Reserve because nope, we're all booked up. And so, okay.
Wow.
And I'm trying to figure out where did this money came from? it just confuses the hell out of me because I'm kind of nervous because if I did something bad in the past, it might catch up, and I don't want to be found. Oh, he committed suicide, slump over the toilet with a bunch of butcher knives in his back and a couple of 22s in the head. No, I don't want to find out. So I
Yeah.
have to be really careful about this because my friend says it also could be it was not my friend, my therapist. My therapist said
Nice.
it could be
Hi, blue collar.
high blue collar. He also said because I had 2 strokes, it's part of the brain damage. So it could be a false memory
Huh.
because it's like I meet people and they thank me. Like they know I do. Let's see how much I got left. They gave me a check and I'm trying to remember why are these people giving me a check? And they reminded me because I'm collecting for the holiday food boxes.
Oh no.
I got down today to $275. And I'm like, okay. And I'm trying to remember, oh, yeah, I collect food boxes for the elderly and disabled
Well, that is nice.
because I do that every winter. And then somebody called me a fraud, and a lot of my churchgoers were mad as hell at this guy. It was a troll. And they said this guy stays in his basement, does nothing. And they're worried about me because I'm running all over the place. I made sure everybody either gets a hot meal, like tonight I was cooking. I still have to remember to eat. I forget.
You got
I
a big
made-
heart, Uncle Al.
I made pasta
Oh wow.
and I made the pigs in a blanket
Yeah. How fitting.
for 16 people. And some of them are vets living in a little apartment. And I always do I promote the word. And sometimes I forget because they enjoy a hot meal and their company because most people forget about them.
Yeah.
And,
Very
you
true.
know, and it pisses the hell out of me. You guys don't know it, but some areas in America, they're mugging old people and disabled people. If you go look on YouTube, that one poor lady who's an army vet and she's in a power chair, they pushed her over and took her groceries.
It's awful. It's
So
awful.
I've been walking nonstop for about last 2 months, the elderly and disabled to our local grocery stores. And my doctor's afraid because I don't sound too good. Because they're afraid, like, what happened to Uncle Al? He slumped over. I'm like, yeah, he overworked himself. So
Well,
I
you
have
gotta
to be
take care of yourself if you want to be able to take care of other people. So just
Yeah, for sure,
Right.
Uncle Al. You have a big heart and you're always taking care of everybody and worried about like the food. You've talked about things and stuff, and you're amazing. So just take care of you. You got a
don't
lot
worry.
going on.
I'm an old farm horse. I think I'm sort of dead, but it's like I tell people the big thing is you live out of your bag if you ever go camping. I
Yep.
miss camping. I
Yep.
have a nice rig in my driveway. And I tell people, I make sure I tell my nephews, go out and camp. But it's cold outside, Uncle Al. I don't care. Go camp. Because I got to get them used to, instead of looking at the phones all day like this, you know, go outside and go camp.
Yep.
You know, I have a nice rig. It has people looking like, this is better than my house, even has a toilet and stuff. So I've seen a lot of places and they were selling these kits. I'm looking at them. I'm not going to spend $100. I could do this at home. You get a quart bag. Okay. Ziploc bag and people looking. So what do you use the bag for? I answered that like 20 times and it drives me nuts. Let me show this real quick. Okay. It's dark. All right. And I tell people you survive out of your pockets.
Yep.
So what does 80% of most people do when they're caught in the dark? Siri, flashlight on. And it doesn't work. Siri, flashlight on. And it shuts off. Thank you, Siri.
Siri only works, she talks to you when you are not talking to her.
Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
right. So that's why I tell people have a little headlamp.
Yep.
Not very big, it's small.
I use one every night.
Yeah, I'm like, you need that when you're feeding animals.
Yep.
Right. People
And we
always
were
look
really
at
smart the other day when Mace was having her baby. She was doing it at night, which normally we've been really lucky they've had them in the daytime most of the time, but we were out there
Right.
in the morning with our headlamp on. But it was the first time I thought, oh, I should get the headlamp because we were in the pig pen before farrowing with our cell phone flashlight.
Right. Another trick
Oh, wow.
I tell a lot of people is get a good space blanket, the foil type, but this is a heavier gauge plastic we use for farming. A lot of people who raise pigs don't know this. This reflects heat. Okay, so your pigs are cold and you have a heat lamp on it. Put 4 sides of the pen space blanket and some duct tape, and the pigs are happy as hell.
I just got a couple of those in my mail call today.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like I said, you learn things from the farm. Easy.
Farming is creativity. Sorry,
Right.
Rebeka.
One of the ladies, she got the porta huts, but she insulated it with a whole bunch of stuff, and it's snowing and cold outside, but it was too warm in there for the pigs. And so they were out sleeping in the snow. She told me that she insulated her hut too well.
Right. They like a certain temperature because of the body fat. And I tell people, all the survival magazines tell you to blow a whistle. That doesn't work out in the, well, it does work if you're in certain urban areas. But if you're out in the woods, like, what the hell was that? You're out in the woods and planes can't hear you if you're like, how high are they? And you're blowing your brains out with a whistle, 3 blasts, and well, they don't hear us, I tell them, I used to use mirror tiles, but you could get these for less than $2.
The acrylic.
Yeah, the acrylic keychain micro flash.
Yep.
They see this, but it doesn't work too well at night. But they'll see this in the daytime. That didn't cost too much.
Well, Uncle Al, I'm going to have you finish showing that, and then after you're done, we're going to head on out. So I wanted to just make sure you had time to show that.
Right. Remember the condoms? If you've seen my video, I keep telling people, you ever use one in the wild, it's horrible because you're taking a drink and the damn thing explodes. Real fun.
Happening right now.
Yeah. So I got this. This is a plastic bag with a twist tie on top. It's a water bag. I'm trying to do this fast. That holds 1 liter of water. And then this is the simplest thing, 2 forms of fire. A cigarette lighter. It's not hard with little pieces of electrical tape. Electrical tape burns, folks.
By the way, Ryan wanted me to tell you that was genius.
Yeah. But everybody who's been in the military knows what this is.
I actually don't know what that is.
I've not been in the military.
I can't remember. It's a triangle bandage.
Oh, okay.
U.S. spec. And then a lot of people wear it as a do-rag, but you could do a lot of things with one of these. And then basically paracord, that's 5 arm lengths. There's tricks I could show you, but we don't have time. And then 2 simple cutting tools, Swiss Army knife and a regular lock blade. I want to scare people when I do that.
You did that a little too well.
Yeah, I know. It's a bad habit of mine. And then you have a nice Ziploc bag for water. I tell people, you put water in there, 1 quart, and they're looking at me like I stole their cat. Okay, that's it for me.
That's awesome, Uncle Al. You know we love you. We think you're great.
Yes,
You have
Uncle
a big
Al.
heart.
Yeah. Okay, folks,
Thank
I know
you
you're
for
running
sharing.
out of time. So I'll
I
catch you
wanted
guys.
to check it. Oh, you're going to head out?
Yeah, because I need you guys got to say goodbye to everybody. So I'll catch everybody later. Bye, folks.
Thanks,
Bye,
Uncle
nice
Al.
to meet you.
Lori, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thanks. Rebeka's been a gracious guest.
Yes, I'm watching her pigs right now.
Oh, cool.
This is the one from April 1st, 2021. They're all just the most adorable little baby piggies. Aww.
They're awesome. They're awesome. Well, Rebeka, we just want to thank you so much for being here tonight. You've been amazing and gracious to give up 2 hours of your life tonight. And I know you were racing around because you had other plans, but we definitely would love to have you back to talk more about like kune pig stuff and everything. But happy Veterans Day, a day late.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for your service, because I think that you're just an amazing role model for women, you know, doing all the things that you do. And you and Josh just have a wonderful farm there. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yep. So nice meeting you in YouTube Live. And I really enjoyed my time this evening. It was fun. So maybe I will hang out some more.
Well, awesome.
Josh says to tell Sherman we say hello.
I will give Sherman a hug and a kiss because I have to go out and check on the chickens. So I will do that. And I'm sure Grant will jump up and do his little exorcist imitation.
Puck, we have trouble with Puck always jumping and climbing the fences like that. And so we've bopped him on the nose.
Gotcha.
Because they're going to get bigger and you don't want them to hurt themselves. So
yeah.
Someone else.
Be a little tough love.
Yeah.
Yep. I've done with the meat pigs like Maggie. I used to just sit there and go, no. And I'd walk away, did the no attention thing, you know. I try not to encourage Grant to do it, but I will do that. Thank you very much. Well, Lori, thanks for jumping on with us.
Yes. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, night, everybody.
Thank you, Rebeka. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate y'all. Have a safe evening. Take care.